What if the real solution to a painful social problem wasn't to tear it all down, but to actually rediscover its original intended purpose? Today, we're diving into a really profound perspective on this, one that asks a pretty challenging question. Okay, let's get right into it. So, where are we getting this from? Our guide for this explainer is an incredible collection of teachings called Deivathin Kural, which means the voice of God. And these are the compiled discourses of the great sage Kanchi Mahaperyava, a truly revered spiritual leader of the 20th century. His words, they offer us a completely different lens to look through, a way to re-examine some of our most deeply held ideas.
And here it is. This is the powerful, almost provocative question that's right at the heart of his discourse. This one single analogy, it frames the entire argument we're about to explore. Are we, trying to cure a symptom by destroying the source itself?
All right, so let's unpack that analogy a little bit. The first thing the discourse does is draw a really sharp line between what a cure is and what the disease actually is. Now look, the modern view is pretty straightforward, and we all know it. The system, as it's often practiced today, leads to hierarchy, division, and a lot of conflict. So the logical conclusion for many people is, well, it should just be abolished, right? And that's the headache that society is feeling so acutely. But this is where the discourse pushes back, and it asks this crucial question. What if the conflict and the hierarchy, what if they aren't the system itself, but actually a corruption of it? A really painful symptom, that headache, that's grown around something else entirely. Is getting rid of the whole thing really the only cure? Now, to explore this idea, the discourse brings in a fascinating and maybe for some, a very surprising perspective. It's from a figure who is globally recognized as a champion for social reform. Yeah, what's so fascinating here is that Mahatma Gandhi himself, in an essay he wrote called My Varnashrama Dharma, he argued the original principle was, and I quote, a rational scientific fact. He didn't see it as a hierarchy. He saw its ideal form as a healthy division of duties, where the laborer and the thinker, they held the exact same status. Okay, so here's the crucial point where these two great thinkers part ways. Both of them saw value in the underlying principle of societal duty. But Gandhi, well, he ultimately concluded that in practice, it had just become too broken, too corrupted to be saved. Kanchi Mahaperyava, on the other hand, he believed that even though the fire was nearly out, its embers, they could be fanned back to life. And this brings us right to the core argument of the whole discourse. It's about completely redefining the system's purpose. It's about shifting the focus away from status and putting it back where it belongs, on duty. So at its heart, the text defines Varnashrama Dharma as a framework that's built on dharma, or duty. The idea here is that your work is a divinely assigned responsibility, and it's for the good of the entire community. The goal isn't to get rich or famous, it's all about collective well-being. And this just brilliantly lays out the problem. When a society focuses on livelihood and wealth, what happens? Well, you naturally get competition, jealousy, class conflict. It's all about who has more. But when the focus shifts to each person simply fulfilling their unique duty, well then, in theory, the very reason for all that hierarchy and conflict, it just disappears. So if that's the diagnosis of the problem, what's the proposed cure? Well, the discourse actually lays out a clear path to restoring that original harmonious purpose. The path forward is really presented as a three-step process. First, you have to preserve the foundational knowledge, the core of it all. Second, this isn't about some top-down change. It's inspired by small groups who lead by example, who actually live these principles. And finally, the big one, a collective mindset shift. It's about learning to value our duty to society more than our personal pursuit of wealth.
And what's the ultimate vision here? What's the goal? It's a society of what the text calls Arangudi Makal, and this translates to a community of compassionate people, a place where everyone lives in harmony, defined by mutual aid, deep respect, and real cooperation, a society free from the very things that cause conflict in the first place.
And all of this, it leaves us with a really big question to think about, no matter what your personal views are. In our world today, what is the role of duty? I mean, what do we truly owe to the society we live in? And maybe more importantly, what do we owe to each other? Thank you so much for joining us for this. If you found this valuable, Gyan Kosh is a multilingual channel where we share spiritual wisdom in English, Hindi, Marathi, Tamil, Gujarati, and Bengali, with even more major languages coming soon. Our goal is just to bring you the timeless treasures of Sanatan Dharma in a simple, clear, and meaningful way. On our channel, you're going to find daily videos on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, the Lilata Sahasranamam, and of course, more from Deivathin Kural. We also explore the lives of the great saints of Maharashtra and Bengal and the incredible story of Adi Shankara, and it's all available in multiple languages.
If our content is something you find valuable, we'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to Gyan Kalash. That way, you'll get notified about our daily videos. And of course, don't forget to like and share and help spread this divine knowledge with your family, your friends, and your community.
Let's together keep the light of Sanatana Dharma shining bright.